Veemon, let's go. Wormmon, let's go.
XV-Mon! Digimon! Paildramon!
It's morphin' time. Hello, this is Soundout here, and welcome to my review of the newest FigureRise Standard Amplified Digimon model kit, Paildramon. So this is part of the FigureRise Standard Amplified line, which takes the anime designs and tweaks them and updates them, usually done by artists as Maria. The idea is that you take the anime design and then you amplify it into something cool. And I like the way they've been doing them lately. The initial amplified kits were very much completely new designs from the ground up, but the recent ones have been more in line with the anime styling. Like, this is clearly like the anime Paildramon, but with extra detail and extra cool things, and I really have come to enjoy these kits a whole lot. And if you want more background on the FigureRise Standard Amplified line and other Digimon things, go check out my Digimon playlist. I've covered a lot of the kits, a lot of the figures. We haven't had any figure arts or anime heroes in a while, but I've covered many of those in the past. So now it comes to Paildramon. Of course, we do have this beautiful box art showing off the amplified design in action, very reminiscent of the next to last shot in the Digivolution sequence, which is where the blasters are firing. You can see on the bottom here, we got some cool stock images of the kit, as well as on the top, we have a little bit more detail as well. I found that building this kit wasn't too difficult. It was a pretty simple build overall. The interesting part is that there was a lot of repetition in terms of like limbs and such, which I thought probably was the most complicated part of it. But overall, it's not too many runners, and I found it to be a little simpler than even the likes of like Metalgramon, which we looked at in the last review. Probably the most complicated bit was just making sure you lined up the wing pieces correctly. So it was a pretty simple build. I think with these amplified kits, they come in these huge boxes and they seem really complicated, but they're more built like high-grade Gundams, not master grades, even though they're in like master grade size boxes. So they're a lot simpler of a build than it looks from the outside. But of course, we're going to take a look at the kit now that it's built and finished, and also compare it to some other figures. Let's take a look at FigureRise Standard Amplified Paildramon. But if you're enjoying this video, or if you enjoy Digimon in general, please hit the like button, hit subscribe and the notification bell to keep up with future uploads. If anyone saw Digimon Con 2025, it was quite eventful, and there's definitely more you want to check out on the channel in the future, as well as in the past. So go check out some other videos after this one, but let's get to the main event. All right, here is the Mon of the Hour, Paildramon. Now, this is one of my favorite Digimon. I really love Digimon Adventure 02, where he debuted, and I just really love the design work because it does distinctively have elements of XV-Mon and Stingmon, who Jogress evolve or DNA Digivolve into Paildramon. He does have that kind of like, it's a fusion of the two. You can see like some of the wings are more like, XV-Mon inspired, but then you have more Stingmon bits with like the shoulders and the spikes and such. It's a really cool fusion. I think the other two Jogress evolutions from 02, Sohimon and Shakuamon, don't look as much like their individual components the way that Paildramon does, and I've always liked that. Now, Paildramon does Mega Digivolve into Imperialdramon, which also had an amplified kit, which I don't have, but I've always really had a soft spot for Paildramon, and maybe that was because I really liked the original Digivolving toy of Paildramon, which you can see I'm having trouble seeing this guy to stand without falling over. The original Digivolving toy of Paildramon was not amazing on the American release. The Japanese release was a little bit better, but I don't have him available. I can't find him. I know I have him. He's in a box. I can't find the box that has my old Digivolving figures in it, so this is the closest comparison you're getting. But anyways, this guy does hold a special place in my heart. I was really excited when they announced the amplified kit of him, because it's nice to get a big old articulating modern type figure for him. So in terms of details, so as you can see, he's really detailed. A lot of these details are done with plastic separation, though there are a few stickers. The eyes, for example, that little T shape on his collar. A lot of the details are accent details, but for the main details like the red and the black, separate plastic layers. Same with the gray, the white, and the blue. Very nice to see. Same with the two different shades of green, which I really like. Gives a nice contrast. But then these little red details were stickers. So it's very minimal on the sticker usage, which is really, really appreciated. I believe also the gray parts of the XV in the chest are also stickers. But there's, there was, I think, more stickers on this one than some of the other kits, but he still looks really good. Like, he doesn't look covered in stickers, which I really, really like. You can see that with the redesign here for the Amplified, he's really bulked out in the arms. But in particular, everything's gotten a lot spikier, anglier. He's got, 5 fingers still, but then the spikes on the arms are kind of crazy. You've got just sharper edges on a lot of things. I really like the way it looks, but it may not be everybody's cup of tea design-wise. I do like just overall how the kit looks. There's a lot of really cool details. You got really nicely sculpted feet, where he's got the heel part is more digital or more mechanical, whereas the front part is more organic, which I think is really, really nice. You have the Desperado blasters here on the side, which look really good. I found the stickers to be slightly annoying on these little red tips down here. Maybe something I'll hit with a dash of paint in some point in the future, but overall look really, really nice. The tail is much like the tail for Shine Greymon or Metal Greymon, which is there is a wire inside, and just like with those, you can kind of move it, but not super much, but you do have some posing range with the tail, which is really, really nice. The backpack here for the wings is really nicely sculpted and really nicely detailed. And the wings themselves, you have to put these plastic sheets in between the actual bones of the wings, so that way it has kind of this fabric thing. You have to punch out all these little holes to do it, but it kind of has that nice bend to it, and you can see that the joint actually articulates. These move side to side up here, these move up and down. Also of note, he does come with this optional piece to plug into an action base. You've got a Gundam action base. I don't usually like the ones that are directly right there. I like them farther back, in the backpack or something, but because of his tail, that's kind of where it has to place. If you want to remove it though, you will have to remove the tail section, and then you just plug it in. I just leave it in there so that way, in case I want to stick them up on a stand, I don't have to go oh, where's the tail piece? I can just do it. Now, in terms of articulation, he is a little hard to pose for a couple reasons. First of all, he's got a lot on his back, so if you're trying to balance him, he can be a little tricky to balance. You got to really get him into a good, stable standing spot. He's going to have to be crouched because he just has this tendency to kind of lean backward, as you can see. And when I was talking about the design earlier, I was having trouble getting him to stand. He's really got to have that sort of crouched look, a little bit of a lean forward, which is not too bad because you do have 2 neck joints. There's one at the lower part of the neck and one at the upper part of the neck. Fully articulated, fully jointed. He can look around a corner, which is pretty cool. He can look up as well, which is nice. The shoulders are pretty well articulated. You've got kind of your in and out ball joint rotation. You got a 360 shoulder. It's just going to clash into stuff. The shoulder pad moves a little bit. For that, you got a bicep swivel. You got an elbow bend. It's a single joint, but it goes a full 90, which is really, really nice. You got a ball joint here on the arm, and then every finger is ball jointed, which is really, really cool. And you can get these to come around and grasp, which is awesome. The upper torso ball joint, as you can see, a ball joint. It's a model kit. Sometimes it pops apart. Lower torso ball joint as well. Hips that move out, hips that actually drop down so they can move forward. They also have a thigh rotation, and then they have a knee. And the knee's interesting because you can see this red bit here would kind of clash into the knee. So if you move the knee, it actually is on a system to move that red bit out of the way so you can get more range, which is really helpful for stability. And then forward and back on the ankle, and a side to side as well. Now, in terms of the wings, like I mentioned, there is some jointage. So they are popped into ball joints here. So you can ball joint them back and forth on both ends. These rotate inward. These go up and down. So you got some range there. And then for the Desperado blasters, they're on this multi-joint system so that they can just rotate forward. And then you can also rotate and pivot here. And it also pivots out just a bit as well. So that way you can get around the waist, for example, and then you can have him pose holding it like you see in the evolution sequence, or when he's actually using them in the show, he's always gripping them. And so you can pull that around, which is pretty nice to see. So he's pretty well articulated. He's just really tricky due to the design to really pose. I wouldn't say he's as fun to pose as Shine Greymon, for example. I think that's probably the most fun to pose of the amplified kits. But once you get him into what pose you're looking for, you can totally nail it. I think that's super cool. Now, of course, just like the other amplified kits recently, he does have an original feature, and he actually has 2 original features that the original design did not have. And so the first one of these involves the blasters. So when you bring the blasters around, you can actually extend the barrels, which the barrels you think you just pull, but no, you actually rotate, then you pull out, and then it's kind of locked in. Like it clips in here, but you push it in and you rotate it, it locks so it doesn't go anywhere. But you can give him full extending barrels, so that way if you want him posed with the blasters, but you want to give him like some more long-range support or something like that. That's like kind of how I see it as long-range support. You can give him that. So you can have kind of the long-range blaster option, which I think looks really cool. But the main reason they do this is because there's a second new feature with the blasters, and that's that you can actually take both blasters and combine them. So we're going to pop them off. You want to pop them off the external joint here, the big old one there, and you can kind of take this one as well. And so what we're going to do is we're going to combine them together. So the way this is going to work is you're going to take the two blasters and you're going to just pick one to be your primary blaster and then one to be your secondary. And you can push these in. These pop out so they can rotate, but you want to push it in so it's locked in. You can extend the barrel of one that's going to be the primary and then rotate like that, plug it in. And so now we have an extended long-range like sniper rifle option for Paildramon. And if you pull this forward, you can pull this out and you can plug this onto his waist clip. And because the waist clip is extra articulate, you can get it further out so that way it doesn't look as ridiculous as it could. And there you go. So now he's got like a big old long-range cannon option for the Desperado blaster. So that way he can kind of shoot at a distance or with more power, whichever way you want to discuss it in your head. Because I think that's just cool that they decided to do that. Like, yeah, let's make his weapons combined. It's kind of like how the Shine Greymon in reverse, where Shine Greymon you could split his weapons in half. Well, here we can combine the two weapons into one. And then adding to this, there's a second new gimmick, which is to do with the arm stingers. So the way the arm stingers work in the shows, they're just kind of there for the most part. But what they've done is that you get this piece here, you pull the stinger off, you can plug on this little like extender, like to raise it up, and then you can plug this back on top of that. So that way it's kind of like popped up and ready to go. And then if you so wish, you can even go further, remove the stinger part from that, and you can take and plug in one of these. And this is a articulating wire. So that way you can have it like, instead of him just like shooting the stinger from the arm, you could have it shoot out like a mono wire type thing for like grappling or for grabbing enemies or something. This is a very common thing you see in like Mobile Suit Gundam or other mecha anime where it's like, oh, we're going to put it on a wire so that way it can retract and come back to us. And now they've added that feature to Paildramon. And they do include, 2 wires and 2 extensions, so that way you can have, like, extra stuff going on. And I just think this is really cool. It's one of the things I like about Amplified is that, they are, different designed from the anime, but then they also are now going in and going, what if we add a gimmick? What if we add, like, extra features to the design that didn't exist before, but kind of work for our Amplified type designs? Because I think this is so cool. And it really opens up his posing options. You got more poses you can do than just, oh, I'm going to fire the guns or I'm not going to fire the guns. Like you can have him doing grappling stuff. You can have him with the long range gun. It's really, really cool. And I really like that we're still getting new features in the Amplified kits because I think it just makes them special and unique in a lot of ways. So while I can't find my original Digi-Evolving Paildramon, here's a couple other ones. Here's the Digimon Figure Collection Paildramon. And here's the old Bandai Action Feature Paildramon. And his gimmick is that you push the little lever on the back and it raises his blasters up, which is kind of fun. It also raises his arms at the same time, which is a neat little gimmick to have. I've had him forever. But yeah, so we got the couple. This one's more chibi. This one's kind of closer to the anime design in a lot of ways. But you can kind of see the evolution of Paildramon here in some ways, which is really, really awesome. I absolutely love this design so much, and I really like this update to him. Because it feels faithful, but it feels different at the same time. Now, in terms of size scaling, here's a FigureRise standard kit. This is the Magnamon, which is directly based on the anime. You see, scaling-wise, I think it kind of fits with the FigureRise standards in a lot of ways, where I feel like Paildramon should be that much bigger than Magnamon. Digimon scaling is always a little funky, though, especially when it comes to merchandise. But yeah, that's kind of how they look for another 02 kit. And then here we have Metal Greymon, who was the last Amplified I reviewed. Which I think actually was the previous Amplified to this one. And then here is Shine Greymon, the previous one to that. Because I don't own all the amplified kits. The only other one I own is Machinedramon, who I just don't want to pull out because he's kind of a lot bigger and he's really hard to manage. But yeah, let's see if we can. So weird seeing a Greymon from the front, but you can kind of see that Paildramon for me is actually. I gotta back the camera up. Paildramon for me is actually the smallest amplified kit I've gotten so far because Shine Greymon obviously pretty big, Metal Greymon gigantic in a lot of ways, but kind of cool. I'm liking the way these kits are. I'm not sure if I'm gonna go back and buy like all the amplified kits because I don't really need more War Greymons and Metal Garurumons. Do I need another Alphamon? Do I even like the Alphamon design? I don't like the amplified Dukemon, for example. So, there's other things in that, but I really like the current amplified stuff. I like how Shine Greymon doesn't even look like he had anything done to him. He just looks straight up the anime design. Whereas these, you can definitely tell there is some upgrades, but I like them. I like them a lot, and I'm excited for the future. So overall, I really like FigureRise Standard Amplified Paildramon, and if you're looking for a great figure of Paildramon, this is a good one to go for, and if you like the design, absolutely recommend it. Now, if you don't like the design too much, maybe you'll come around on it, but for me, I do like the updates, I do like the overall look of him, and I think he is pretty terrific. And the cool part, too, is that Amplified is not done. Well, I think we only got one kit last year, or maybe there's two. We usually try to get about 2 a year, I think. This year, we are getting Kaiser Greymon, which from previous videos was my most wanted FigureRise Standard kit, or Amplified kit even. I've really wanted to figure Kaiser Greymon for so many years. He's from Digimon Frontier. The original Kaiser Greymon toy is one of the rarest Digimon toys in existence. And so I'm really excited that they're making Kaiser Greymon. And then at Digimon Con, they decided to also announce that they're making Susanoo-mon. They threw a silhouette up at the Digimon Con presentation. We don't know, is this going to be a separate Susanoo-mon kit? Or will you need to buy a Kaiser Greymon and a hypothetical Magna Garurumon kit and combine them together to make Susanoo-mon? We don't know for sure on that, but I'm really excited either way because getting Frontier kits in FigureRise Standard just seems to make sense. They're the most humanoid Digimon that we actually get in like anything because they are supposed to be humans turned into Digimon. So I'm very, very excited that they're doing Frontier, and I'm excited that we're doing stuff that's not just adventure. It's not so predictable, and I love that for Digimon right now. So if you're excited about Susanoo-mon and Kaiser Greymon, be sure to hit subscribe and notification bell so you don't miss out, because I will be reviewing those, and I'll be covering the news on my live streams and stuff on the channel. So yeah, definitely look forward, because I will be reviewing Kaiser Greymon, because I'm so excited that I'm getting one of my most requested Digimon in a figure form after so long, and it's really, really exciting to see that. Like I said, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button, and also leave any comments down below. Tell me what you want to see in FigureRise Standard Amplified or others. It would be nice to see more FigureRise Standard. It would be nice to see more Figuarts. It would be nice to see more anime heroes. At the time, there's no announcements for any of those. It seems like they're just doing Amplified for Digimon figures, but we got so much other Digimon stuff going on. It's kind of wild. So on that note, if you want to continue the conversation and talk about Digimon and other things, join our Discord server in the link below. If you want to help support the channel directly, you can join as a channel member, which has perks like early access to videos, member exclusive live streams, and more. Check the details down below. We'll give a special shout out to some of our channel members. Special shout out to all of our channel members, including Captain Tier, Spin-54, Toma K, MasterBin95, Super Shadix Boom, Forever1000, Michael Flores, Common Spidey, Jamie's World, The Clueless Collector, Mr. Smelly Potato, Vigo, Common Pikachu, Colm Creed, Spidey Brian, BV Universe Official, Philip Ceruno, Ben Odinson, Mars the Star Droid, EZP3R, K Breezy, Shinji, Nerdy Texas Accountant, Cam Strickland, Common Jojo, EasyTo727, Greg Harris, and Matchas Dent. Also special shout out to our new Commander tiers, The Man of Movies, Jess Zayden, and Brendan Overland. Thank you everybody for your support of this channel, both channel members and viewers alike. If you so wish, I'm on social media, Blue Sky, and Discord at Soundout12. You can also find my wonderful graphic designer, DarkClaw643, on social media and Discord. Plus, you can check out Hero Club at heroesclub.com for Digimon interviews and more. Interviews like Dorothy and Tom Fawn, as well as an upcoming interview with Jeff Nimoy. So if you want to check that out, go check it out down below. You won't regret it. And until next time, this is Soundout saying, can't wait for Kaiser Greymon, hoping we get a Magna Garurumon, and either way we're getting a Susanoo-mon, so this Digimon fan is very happy.